Okay, let's watch this draft out. Zoroban into Ho-Oh. Why are you banning Darkrai on? Okay, this is the biggest giveaway that you're cooked in this game. I don't even. Why are you banning Darkrai on blue side? It's 100% forced for them to ban it here because they don't want to give it to you. So why are you banning first Zoro and then Darkrai? Like it makes zero sense. I don't care how good the jungler over here is, it Zoro or Darkrai. It literally does not matter. Like there is no way that like giving Zoro over insta loses you the game. In fact, I think it's probably better for you if they insta pick Zoro, because then you just go like Blissey here and then Slowbro here if they pick Zoro 1-2. And then pick like your blue side, you want to pick Darkrai. Why are you banning Darkrai? What on earth is this draft? You know that they are forced to ban Darkrai here unless they want to give it to you. So unless you've like scrimmed this team 100 times and you know your jungler can't play Darkrai, then like there's no reason to ban it. And if your jungler can't play Darkrai, sub him out for someone else. Because you need to play Darkrai in this meta, or at least have the threat of playing Darkrai to get the force ban here so that you don't get yourself into a situation like this. Because you're banning it on blue, you're just actually trolling. It's so bad. Okay. What do we look at? Come on. Okay, we're gonna first pick Leafeon. Oh boy, what a wonderful sight. This last pick is gonna determine whether I actually watch this series or not, or if we watch it on 2x. Okay, so blue side is completely unsalvageable here. First picking Leafeon is probably the worst thing you can do ever. It makes zero sense, and it's not a mon that will insta win you the game unless you're insanely far ahead. It's like first picking Callista or like B1 in Callista or any mon that like it inherently requires itself to get so far ahead to be useful in the late game that it's just not even worthwhile. It's great in ranked, which is why people are gonna pick it, but they're not understanding any sort of conditions that are like necessary to make it work. And then after you pick Leafeon, which is an engage mon, you then immediately go and pick three disengage mons. Well, two, I guess. Two hard disengage mons, one of which is the worst mon of all time, Espeon. And then another disengage mon. Like, I don't. This draft is just. It's god awful. I don't understand how you can do this and not be fired as a coach, or whoever is like designing these drafts should be fired. Like genuinely, it's the worst thing I've seen in a long time, probably since the LG draft, because like this is so Espeon is inherently conditional against itself because its ultimate makes it harder for it to play. Like the ultimate is actively working against Espeon's win condition, which is to get the enemies close enough to it, but not close enough that they can kill it, to use a bunch of side beams that overlap at a certain range. The ultimate pushes them way too far out, so you're getting that. This is an anti-dive character. If you have to go in with it, it's way too squishy. You don't actually have enough sustain with these shields, especially against something like the Umbri when it has ult. This is like a semi-dive character, but it doesn't go as fast or as far as Leafeon. Um, Leafeon is either dive or poke, but there's no other Pokemon, so it can't go Solar Blade. If it goes dive, it's going to be playing a one like it's going to be playing like a 1-3-1 basically, where like these are going to be the separate units of the team, but these two are just going to be so disjointed that they probably should just get chopped up by the Sarina. I don't hate Red Side's draft, to be honest. I don't like the early pick. Like I don't think that's great. But wait, no, this doesn't work. What? So this is the ideal laning pairing, I guess. Like this is why. So what you should have done here, I think, is not pick Tree here because I think that's a bad pick. I don't love these two. I think these two are kind of rough. because I think you want these two to be a pairing, and then you want Umbreon plus X. Usually when I think of the X, it's usually either like a more heavy damage dealing tank, think like the Lapras, the Blastoise, etc., or some sort of all-arounder. So usually you want the double all-rounder comp. Um, and then you can have three if you're going in jungle, but I don't like this at all. It's not awful. I'm taking red side every day of the week here because blue side is an abomination. All of these drafts are just abominations. I don't understand how Japan is this bad at drafting, and they're world champions, by the way. It's literally just Korea. We're back in Korea again. Okay, we're also sending the Leafeon top, too, so yeah. Why is the Mew going top? Oh my god. Your lane's gonna be so bad. Okay. Somehow they're winning in top. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, given that Leafeon is just a complete abomination. And like, I just hate Leafeon is god awful in that matchup. I guess that does make sense. But because especially because they're probably not going Solar Blade, they're probably going Razor Leaf, which is actively against what's good. Like if you're actually thinking about the game, I think you have to change your build and go Solar Blade to contest the Mew. But no, we're not going to do that. So who's stealing the Dodrio? Again, I've sort of been anti-red and their lane identities, but I genuinely do really like swapping the Serena into jungle because you give it so much more farm, and like the Dodrio doesn't really need much more to go online now. It can just kind of run around the map and do whatever it wants, right? We saw it running in here, taking the blue side jungle and then going out. Even though I'm not a fan of sending the double top and then having the Serena bot, because I think it makes the Umbreon Serena lane really bad. They didn't actually get punished for it because they picked the two worst Mons of all time. It's just, the evolution and non-Umbreon Mons are god awful, and they should not be getting picked. I don't know why they are. And like if they're getting picked, they should be getting picked in entirely different scenarios that like they're not even close to. So yeah. From there we go. What we have the starting to swap in jungle. That's what I want to talk about. So when you do this, right? You're allowing first of all you're allowing the Mew to shift down, right? So your lane assignments were top, top, jungle, and then bot, right? So the biggest issue here is you're worried about your Mew getting starved for XP. There's not a whole lot, and you don't want the Mew subsisting entirely off of the XP share passive. It's kind of rough to do that. So what you can do here is if you, right, you rotate the, so the Trev is going to stay top. It's still the main focal point of top. The Umbreon is going to stay bot, but what you can do is you can rotate the Dodrio. Well, actually, you can't even do that. You kind of have to do this, I guess. You kind of have to rotate the Umbreon top because it has the XP share. This is why the lane assignments are awkward, by the way, because of this. Right, so you have to rotate that bot with the Mew because you don't want the double XP share. Again, why the assignments are really awkward. Because normally you can just rotate the top laner straight down and call it a day, but in here you have to like do some more intensive switching. You put the Serena in the jungle, and then you put the Dodrio in top. You let the Dodrio just kind of run around and do whatever it wants. Serena's end goal is to just hit spikes. It's big power spikes, and then Umbreon's just really trying to stop any sort of scores, and then these two can pure farm. I actually really do like that. It's a good macro move. Instead, they're doing it in like reverse, right? Where you see the Dodrio kind of running around with Serena. They're hovering bot. Um, this is way better to do with these two, I think, just because bot lane has way more XP on the table. If top lane ever gets broken, I think you then want to shift them up there to get these and DDs if they ever spawn, but I think before that it's way better to have them both bot. It's also really rough to actually do a lane swap here because you don't have the time, I think. Your tempo is really bad. Yeah, I mean, blue is just not in a good position, or really in any position to do anything. Um, they do overextend red towards the pad dive, but like, I don't think this does anything in terms of the strategic positioning that you're getting both. Like at this point, you're getting outscaled. Like the only one that has any sort of scaling is the Urshi, but like the Mew and the Serena will continue to get stronger. Leafeon and Espeon have sort of hit the caps here, or at least capped out in terms of power. Like there's no good reason to do what they're doing, I think. It's just this draft is so unplayable, I think. Mew gets out alive, by the way. Okay, Espeon takes Regirock. I think that Orange needs to start invading jungle, otherwise that pad break was really bad. Yeah. I mean, reset to neutral here, play your macro again, clear your camps. Keep letting the Serena farm your jungle if you're the Dodrio. Like I genuinely really do, although I kind of hated the draft originally and I do still dislike the lane assignments, I really do like the macro strategy. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's something that I've also, if you've heard me on the channel before, I've yapped about a couple of times, which is like swap, especially like this. The thing that the red side is doing is really good, especially with something like the Leafeon, because the Leafeon runs out of gas fast. So if you play like a Leafeon with a, really strong top lane, like a Sarina or something, um, you can use the Leafeon for the first clear, or the level 4 gank if you're a Sinner, and then immediately swap them into jungle, and they will get a lot of the XP, the carry. So it's just like, it's way better. Like I've talked about it before, I think it's very good, but can you stop the score? They can, so yeah. I mean, they're popping ult for it. Yeah, they're not going to get there. I feel like, again, breaking pad is really bad there. Because it's only 400 XP. Like, 400 XP versus, like, giving them approximately just that much in one go. Like, it's not worth. Trying to defend mid Bs. I also like that they're not putting super high prio on fighting for a neutral objective when they have no pressure to, right? Like there's no reason for them to fight for bot neutral. And as I say that, we get a little bit too big for our egos get a little bit too big, and then we give away the game really. Because before this fight, the game is unwinnable. The score, people are gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, "Oh, blue side's ahead," but the game is genuinely unwinnable for them. Because the Sarina is just outscaling them so hard, and it's just impossible to play. And same with the Mew as well. It's not necessarily super strong, but it's outscaling so hard. And then the Sarina just decides that it's time to straight up sprint into the enemy team. Like there's no reason. You do not need these bees, and you know that there are at least 4 members here probably. Like going in here makes no sense, and they do it anyways. And then the Umbreon wastes their ult as well. They get killed. I don't know what the Mew is, again, thinking as well with ulting forward. And then, the Sarina gets there too late, doesn't top the pad breaks. And now they have a 60-point advantage, and they've sort of gotten a lot of XP off of these kills. They have a lot more room to work with here. Whereas earlier, they were relatively even, and being even is being behind in this game for blue. Here, they're... So again, because blue's draft is so bad, if they're even, they're behind. If they're even, it's a losing game state. If they're behind, it's a losing game state. So they have to be ahead for winning game state. Earlier, they were very even, and then the Sarina just sent them super far ahead again. Because now, look at the XP differentials, right? So we're talking, even then I want to go before this, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 9, 9, 10, 11, right? So the biggest delta is right here on the carries, but that's because one of them has XP share. So it's actually right here on the top laners, because, well, even then, it's jungler has 2 delta level, so that's -2. Bot laners are even, technically. XP shareholders are even, and then -1, so right, 3 level delta. But even then, it's on, this level doesn't matter, and these 2 levels also don't really matter, because the biggest, most important factor is that your Sarina is scaling super hard, right? Even then, 3 level delta to, at this point, 10, 10, 11, 12, so 1 level up, 1 level up. This is 2 levels up now, and this is 1 level up, 1 level up, so 5 level delta, or no, 6 level delta. So you went from a 3 to a 6 level delta for literally no reason. Let's see if what happens afterwards, because they get, what, 2 levels, right, I think? So, well, that's a big fucking comeback. So, we're looking at 1, 1, 1, and then 1, and then 1. So 5 little deltas. So basically, they went from they just gave them 2 levels for free. Like it's insane. Why did you decide to force? It makes no sense, right? You're even, which means the enemy is way behind because team fights have been going in your favor the entire game. Like even when you were behind, and so there's no reason to force, but you do, and then we're just gonna force again. And the team with the better draft is about to lose. Oh boy. I can't stand this man. At the very least, they're continuing to farm their points up, so we'll see what we have. 20 seconds on top, 15 seconds on bot. Both are plausible targets, but it looks like we're just going to fight for top. I mean, they see them and they just go bot. Yeah. Yes. No need to be crazy here. Now it's good to break a pad. And Umbreon died. Okay. That's rough, but it does... So, I think the Umbreon death there is not actually that bad. Usually it's pretty bad, I think, but they don't waste ult. They'll still be back in time for the fight if everybody were to just back instead of... Even then, what is it? Is it ice or is it... They don't show, do they? Because if it's steel, I feel like you have to go for this. Doesn't say what spawned. I love that that's a thing. But yeah, I don't think you need to score this and break it. Also, again, like I said, I don't think dying is necessarily bad there. Because you'll be back in time. I just hate this positioning because you have no need to do this. Because you're down 4v5, and so if you just pull back to over here, you can wait for your Umbreon to just jump pad out. Same with your tree to try to meet up with you, right? Like you can all meet up in this area. But over here, it's really hard to get to them and actually protect them. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it does anything or if they just kind of die. Especially with the Mew being the one face checking. Like, it makes no sense. Red is gonna. Oh, Sarina lives. Yeah, again, look at all that Umbreon's doing. I I mean, look at it. I wasn't talking about Umbreon. I was talking about Leafeon being unable to kill literally anyone earlier. Did not mean to say Umbreon, but this is just. What the fuck is this shit? It's completely awful. That's what it is. I mean, we're just gonna keep just trickling out, I guess. We're just gonna 50-50 flip it. And Blissey on top. I mean, I have no thoughts about this except that I think Red played some of the worst like they made really good macro decisions in the early game and then they just could not hold up under any form of substantial pressure and then yeah, cuz like they just have they have the like this positioning for Ray. Hold on, let me go back 20 more seconds. Like it's just so bad. Like there's no reason to do this and then have like number one you don't need to show. And then number two, why are you like having Mew just fucking walking out here in the middle of nowhere? Like you can also loop back up this way. Like you don't need to force here because the moment you see this they're going here and they're going to force onto you because they know that there's two over here or at least one was here and then one spawning here, right? This guy's kind of a question mark, like they don't know exactly where he is, but like they can just force this direction, and as long they're not going to get pincered, and so if you can't do anything, you have no tanks. I'm surprised it takes them this long to even go, because they should see the Mew here. Like they see it here, and then they take like 4 or 5 seconds when this should just be an instant like call. Also, I don't like the like where's the Espeon ult? Right here somewhere? Yeah. Look at how little damage it does. Yeah, so like I just I hate watching this. Is it like they're just fighting to fight and there's like no rhyme or reason for where they're positioning and then they just get owned. It's like, okay, get me out of this game. I should have expected that when I saw that fucking draft, but okay. What do we got here? Oh, this is way too far forward. Okay. So now Zeta pick blue, which is sort of the normal response after you see this. Because, like, again, if they see this is the problem. If you're having to ban Darkrai on both red and blue side, you're inherently already in such a bad position in draft. It makes you so far behind without you even doing anything because like you don't have any additional space. Like normally in League, right, you can like sort of say one ban's a wash and be okay with that. Um, but like you only have two bans and only having one real ban is really rough. And like in this scenario, they don't even have a real ban because Ho-Oh. So like blue side basically has free reign to do whatever they want here. Like it's so bad. Because the other thing is normally, right, in scenarios like this, you're like, okay, well, we'll just like we have two really good mons, right? We'll give up one and then we'll sort of play the other. But in this scenario, like you can't afford to give this one up, which means that like you can't afford to let them both through draft, right? You can't afford to go like Darkrai here and then Ho-Oh here because Darkrai will still beat the Ho-Oh, and it's like, well, now we're just kind of fucked in bans. And that's why, making sure that you have free blue bands is so important. Anyways, I still hate the Leafeon ban. It's not good. I have not seen anything impressive out of it. The rest of these bans are fine and reasonable. Okay. We're gonna first pick Umbreon. Pretty good. I like it. I have no issues with it. Um, so this is just bad. Again, this is just bad drafting because you want Dodrio to remain a flex, right? The reason that you pick Dodrio early, or that I can at least sort of excuse people picking Dodrio early, is when you pick it early and then you have the ability to flex it top lane, mid game, or even pre game, and then as well as the jungle, right? So even though it really commits to like one theme and one theme only, which is the dive theme, it still does have some flexibility where I'm like, okay, I don't hate it. But the moment you do this, you sort of removed any question about whether it's going to be flexed or not. Or, well, it doesn't really matter whether it's going to be flexed or not because you know that one of these two is going jungle and the other one's going top. And so you have no threat of like the flex into an off meta pick because you know exactly where both picks are going. So there's nothing interesting here that's actually going to happen. Like it's an awful pick. What are we looking at? Okay. Mew and Blissey. Okay. So again, I actually like this because it's a good setup on blue side. Like I think that these guys have had, even though I didn't love the draft last time, I think it's fine, but I think they could have done some better sequencing. This is actually a relatively good draft so far. Like, it's something that that if I was like drafting this, I'd be like, yeah, okay, these guys know what they're doing because they do. Looks like at least. We see the Mew here, multi-flex, multi-flex, multi-flex. You have three really flexible mons that can do a bunch of different stuff. Um, if I recall correctly, they're probably picking Zoro here and going full Smork, but it doesn't really matter. And like at this point, you still have threat of a Protect comp where you can go like a Blastoise or like a Lapras here, Buzzwole as well, and then like a Dark Bear here, and then you like have a full-on Protect comp that these two can't really get through. I think that's probably the best solution here. Um, yeah, I can't stand these drafts. If you watch the other video that I probably put out, I don't know, yesterday or whatever, um, the other teams also have god awful drafting, and I'm gonna lose my mind at this. Okay, so again, this makes zero sense. LD is at its best when it can like either you're going the Leaf Tornado dive set, which like sort of matches themes here, but then you don't get access to Pollen Puff, which is where it's a real, which is like I think the big reason you pick Ellie is the Pollen Puff AOE healing, since Clef is really bad. It's the only way to actually get a bunch of AOE healing. Similarly, the advantage of the LD is that you can go Cotton Guarded with it as well, which I think is a really good anti-dive tool. Um, and so I more prefer LD in the anti-dive style of comp. I don't think it's bad in the dive comps, but it's not great. And then Mamo just is completely off theme because you're already committing to dive with your two carries, and Mamo like is not great at dive because it has issues with sustain. And like I don't think it necessarily has issues going forward, but I don't think it's the best. Like if I'm picking a dive tank, I'm picking Umbreon. I think I'm picking Tree. Like I don't like the Mamo at all. And then it's it's bad into Umbreon as well because it's heavy shield reliant with Buddy Barrier. So yeah, nope, no thank you. I don't actually like this that much. So Like I said, I like Serena at like the most when you can move it around the map and like create threats with it. I also like it with like a more supportive Mew. I think this is sort of risky. I fucking I see the Garchomp and I just feel they're gonna pick some dumb. I don't ignore the right side of the screen. It does not matter. It cannot hurt you. So like I don't love it. I don't think it's god awful. It's not great, but it's fine, I'd say. Similarly with the Zoro, like I think like I said, I think it's better to go like protect here, like the Buzzwole or like the defensive tank that still has some damage, and then like a Dark Bear, sort of peel junglers. You could go, I guess, like a ADC jungle here as well, and play for that. Play for some like long range poke damage. Um, Something like the Arma I think could fit in there as well. So yeah, I don't love it, but yeah, it's fine. And we'll see what the enemy team picks. Please. Oh, okay, maybe. I'm seeing a bunch of different hovers. Please no, please no. See, this is the problem with results-based analysis because they probably think that their draft was good because they won the last game when they were never ahead except until Zeta fed into them. Like Zeta only won or only lost because they fed and they gave them two free levels, which let them maintain the lead that was slowly slipping away and was inevitably going to disappear after a while. And then they just like let them have the lead again because they decided to fight bot pad. And then because they fought bot pad, they didn't have enough time to get to tier 2 and they lost tier 2 as well. And then they after that they decided to force and like try to break this bot pad because they felt they were pressured by losing both of these bot pads, which set up for that awful Ray fight, right? And you kind of like trace it all back, like you unwind the thread, and it all starts from the Serena inting right here on Bees. But before that, even though they were up levels, they were like positionally behind, I think. And I maintain that statement, and I think that's a true statement because I think that the Sarino was just going to get another couple of levels if it didn't die twice in a row, hit like level 13, level 14, and just be unstoppable. Especially playing with the comp that was set up, but because of how the fights went, she got stunted in her growth at like the 4 to 3 minute mark, and then suddenly she's, having the gap open up again. This comp that they ran was god awful and not good. It made no sense. It had no value, um, and I hated it. Although I haven't loved the lane assignments from Zeta, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the Trev the first game. I think it's very clear that they have a good draft philosophy and that whatever's going on over there makes sense, at least reasonably. Like I can explain the lane assignments away by just like somebody being like, no, I don't mind having the tree and the Umbreon like double lane. Like that's or like they don't have that mind having the Mew top lane, which I think is fair. I don't love it, like I said personally, but I think that that's a fair statement if that's the assessment that they're willing to make. But I just like I believe that Zeta Division has a coach and that coach can do draft. No faith over here. And I think that the I think this is a player run org just based off of what I'm seeing. Because they're running the same thing back. And the first draft had no way to win. This draft has no way to win. And they're just kind of hoping that they can actually find a miracle without any sort of rhyme or reason. Like it makes no sense. Oh, the just bad drafting. On one hand, I want Red to win so that the series can be over. On the other hand, I want them to lose and get punished for having the worst drafts of all time. Also, I don't think I said it, but I think it should be very clear. I'm taking Zeta in this game. What the? How the? So the Eevee dies trying to contest this. Looks like she just walks into the Mamoswine stun and then continues to walk forward and then tries to score. Like, okay. Okay, Zoro's going bot, it looks like. They're gonna show up late and try to get a kill, I think. Trying to do stacks, I think, probably. What? No? Okay, hold up. Um, so it's at 12. Gets 2. So 14 and then 2. 20 and 2. 18. Okay, so they basically get all the boppies then. I don't think they got any top. I wasn't paying attention, but what? Say what? They just eat the full tri attack twice? Full tri attack plus boosted auto. It's crazy. They get out. Okay, so we're sending 5 bot. We get all the Bs again. No, there's not a whole lot that's happened so far. I feel like that top pad break is really, really bad again. Like, it doesn't make any sort of sense, reasonably. They are gonna probably get the Aleki, though, which, if they do, they can maybe push it into tier 2. Yeah. So Dodrio's getting a lot of XP. Probably gonna be able to really strong Mon, but I mean, I guess they're trying to leverage it, create a advantage bot, as they have to send 2 people to top to deal with Reggie. But how does it? Okay, so they're going for scores, but this is not good. I do not like this Zoro. Okay. I mean, again, this is like, they have a 200 point lead and they're only up like 2, 3 levels-ish. It's really only like 2, I think. Like, it's such fake. It's so fake that people think that, like, breaking pads bad. Or, like, good. It's so bad for you. They just need to make sure they protect their jungle here. What is Serena doing? I mean, so it looks like they got Umbreon going to scout. I don't see why they're continuing to. Oh, that's why. Oh, well, that's really good. Kill the JLD too. Like again, they're just in so even one level, 2 level delta, and like there is no farm anywhere on that side of the map, really. Like, but they've got like look at how much farm they have up because they broke all of these pads and their levels are basically even, so they're basically even. Like 150 points down and they're still approximately even because breaking pads doesn't actually help you if you don't get a whole lot of jungle camps. Like there's no reason to force it so hard. Again, yeah, they can just give the Regius. There's no threat here. It's not steel, not rock. Like it's not gonna win or lose you the game here. So they can continue to keep going. That's a jump pad take of a lifetime. Oh, and they get out. Yeah, now imagine if Blue just didn't break this top pad and give these guys like 600 free XP for no reason. Like, they'd be so far behind. Like, you take away these couple rotations of Indeedis, like, I think Orange is actually behind Blue because they've gotten so many rotations of Indeedis. Like, it's so good. Anyways, hopefully I will see people stop breaking pads eventually. What are we looking at? 12, 12, 12. Yeah, like, again, what is this? This is a 160. I'm gonna say what 100. So it's 157, right? So 157 points, which is approximately 570 XP. Obviously you would divide this by 40, and then do your result times 40, because that's the minimum amount of XP they could have gotten as well from the bonus plus 40 every score. But flat XP is not valuable because it doesn't actually do anything. The Indeedis, as I keep saying, they're scaling XP values. They continue to grow throughout the game. You get multiple of them, and it's just not worth it to break pads. Like, it's so bad because it leads to scenarios like this where if they opt not to fight this, which they might not be able to because it is kind of rough, they want to not give up the Aleki into the base pad, right? But if they opt not to fight this and farmed this instead, they would be up in levels. Like I think that is the argument and that is fair because like what Blissey probably gets a level up, Umbreon probably gets a level up if they just farm it solo. Um, I don't think either of those two would get a level up, but it would be close. I think if they farmed like the entire jungle real quick. And again, we're just why so again, this is like I don't get this is why playing a dive comp sucks because there's no pressure on them to go forward right now. They have their Mew over here and like they've got 8 seconds until this neutral spawns. So like there's no reason for them to run at this, right? Because if you just play further back, you can wait for your Mew to rotate up and then camp in one of these bushes and then just play for them to walk in way further. But they decide to, again, the Sarina decides to go over the wall and basically throw the game. Well, this time it's the Umbreon. I guess it's not the Sarina's fault this time. But the Sarina gets caught out because of it, and then now they're playing full on retreat. They get a Lecky for free. And again, if they had just farmed there, they would be in a much better position. Although it'd be kind of rough if the Alecki's still putting in. Pushing in, I think they probably are just better off with the farm that they're getting? Yeah, come on. Tell me that this comp is playable. Lie to my fucking face. Like, oh my god. You are fighting a 4v5, and you know that because you see Sarina on the map. They have to engage into you, but you can do literally nothing because none of your carries do any damage through any of the defensive tools they have. Like imagine instead of building around the Dodrio and like picking the Espeon, they like built around the Ceruledge and like picked I don't know, literally like a Mew or like like anything that does any sort of damage instead of this god awful champion. Again, they are down 150 points, but they are so like this is what I mean by compositionally ahead. Like they're so far ahead because the enemy comp can't do anything. There's nothing it can do to win this game except hope for a Mamoswine miracle steal. Like they need a miracle to win this game. Like they needed a miracle to win the last game. Like it's not a coincidence that they are consistently down 100 points, but in a very good position because their drafts are so much fucking better than the enemy teams. It's ridiculous. Like that's why draft matters so much. It's just like anyways. Let's watch this game play out. There is still a chance they lose. I think it's low, but there is a chance. There's always a chance. Um, Wait, they're gonna lose. Oh, wait, no, no, no. They don't lose. The Umbreon just needs to score once. And they can't jump pad to it. Oh, wait, no, Dodrio? Okay. That was closer than I would like to admit, but, like, that's what I mean when I say, like, even that being down 100 points was rough there, but, like, they weren't even close to, they were close to losing, but I don't think they were close to losing in terms of, like, a team fight ever. That they didn't int, because they inted that top lane team fight and then they lost that, but I don't think that that was even a good team fight because they fought it without Mew. Like, you fight without your carry, of course you're gonna fucking lose. Okay, what is this? Okay, game 3. I'm gonna grab a tiny sip of water really quickly. Okay, so let's talk. What are we looking at here? Um, so again, I mentioned it earlier, but think about how constraining it is for uh this team. I apologize, I don't speak whatever language this is to be in draft, right? Like because what you can do, right? They have to ban Ho-Oh and they have to ban Darkrai on red side, but which allows Zeta Division to first pick stuff like the Umbreon, right? But because they feel the need, because their abhorrent drafting style that makes literally zero sense. Also, I'm going to mention the Zoroark made zero difference in the last game. It wasn't the Zoroark, it was the god awful drafting. But the the inherent part about this draft that needs to be remembered is that now Zeta Division doesn't have to ban Darkrai, which opens up the Umbreon ban, which makes their first pick slightly worse. It doesn't make it a whole lot worse, but compared to the last game where, excuse me, you have to pick you get two free bans over here. They don't get any free bans over here, right? Like that's what happened. Zeta Division gets one free ban. Like, it's just, it is a drafting disaster class. Like, genuinely. I, it's so amazing. It's just, it's impressive how bad this draft is. Um, this is relatively similar to what we've seen playing out earlier. They first picked the Umbreon, the Leafeon. It's still bad. Um, like if they thought it was a real problem, they would have banned it here. Um, they're getting baited. They picked the Miraidon, the Dodrio. Like I said, I'm still relatively unconvinced by the Dodrio on two. I think it's a 3 form on. Like I think it should be picked down here, on one of these two slots. Um, and so I like it a lot better down here. Um, so yeah, I don't mind the Miraidon. I've sort of come to terms with it. I think it's fine. I've seen enough from it to believe that it actually can do damage, which was my biggest concern with it. That I didn't see it do any sort of damage at all when I first saw it a couple of times. So I sort of edited my assessment of it. I think it's definitely playable at the very least. As for these two, this is fine. This is fine. It's also like sort of made worse inherently by the fact that you have the Leafeon, so it's a little bit less flexible. But yeah, it's fine. Don't like the Mamoswine if they lock it. It looks like they do. Similarly, I don't love the Whimsy or the LD. I keep thinking Whimsicott. I don't know why. What the fuck? I'm just like I don't even want to talk about it anymore because I'm rehashing the same points. Like this pick makes no sense with the rest of the team comp. It just doesn't fit. It's one of these things that's not like the other. Like I, I just don't know what to say. Anyways, let's see what they pick. Okay, Gudra. So what are we looking at here? Um, so jungle bot, top probably. This is going bot. So I think the hard read here, and if it is the hard read, I like it, is that Leafeon can't do anything into a tank. Like that's the truth of the matter. They are hard reading that this Leafeon is going to end up going top, I think. I think that Urshi can probably do some stuff into tanks. It's not necessarily great into it, but I think that you do have damage. Um, and so I think that the hard read here is that the Leafeon's going top, and so they pick the Gudra, which I think makes sense into the Leafeon. I don't hate this draft. I hate it, but I don't hate it. Like I don't love the Dodrio again. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's on theme. Similarly with the Mamoswine, but it's not this fucking amalgamation, and I've seen them put out good drafts. Like I've seen two good drafts come out of the machine, and I think that they're trying to play a little bit more air quotes comfort, which is a bad idea, to like fit in the Gudra. But yeah, we'll see. I don't love red, but I'd take it in this game. And they're right. So yeah, like I said, the read is that red side is they're taking the assumption that they know that the Leafeon's probably going top based off the read game one. And so since they know that, they're just gonna put a tank up there and the Leafeon can't do anything. Which is similar to what happened in game one. It's just a little bit less. Like game one it wasn't necessarily intentional, but now it is. Yeah, they don't feel the need to contest, which is perfectly fine. Okay. I mean, the biggest question is, I think, probably mid Bs now. I missed fucking. I didn't pay any fucking attention to what happened to Bs here. Okay, so they probably got a bunch of the bot ones. Yeah. Yeah, so they got most of the bot ones. I'm losing it, man. Yeah, okay. Turns out if you have a comp that like does nothing, it's really bad. That said, bot pad break is still god awful. I am begging teams to stop doing it. It makes no sense. It's a nonsensical play for something that like doesn't matter. Um, Electrodrift Maridon doing some damage. I mean, what are they gonna do? Try to steal it, I guess? Not even trying to steal is weird, I think. Because you're just, I mean, they're dead. Yeah, well, I don't, I don't even know what to think of this game. Like, I've paid zero fucking attention. Because I'm just, like, looking at this shit, and it's such a miserable fucking game to play out. So they rotate the Gudra bot for no reason. Um, and then they're having the Leafeon, I guess, match, or they're having the Urshifu go top and then the Leafeon go bot. So, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this Maridon's doing here. You're contesting 1v2. The only reason they haven't killed you yet is because they're trying to get the objective, and then they just get the objective, and then now they're gonna fucking kill you. Yeah. Big overcap. Like, okay. And I think that this is now, again, somehow losable for Red. I don't know how they keep getting so far behind, because I feel like they haven't given over a crazy amount of kills in this game either. Then again, they did give over a bunch of stuff. Like, they're just kind of giving stuff. I don't know why they're taking this fight again. Like, it's just, it's, there's no reason to do any of this. But Blue has been so kind as to feed them so much XP, so I don't think this is winnable though. Like I said, I like red side here, but I just I'm looking at this and it's so hard to play out. Cause like now they're so far ahead for no reason. Like I don't get it. This game has been cooked. I've been paying zero fucking attention. Cause I'm like I'm just trying to see why this game is even remotely close. Yeah, I'm gonna I think we probably end stream after this too, but holy shit, this game sucks. Trying to get it in, they're not going to be able to. Giving up a bunch of score for it. Okay, well, Yeah, I think the game's kind of over in terms of as long as blue doesn't throw. As long as blue doesn't throw, I have the powers of Nostradamus. Yeah, I don't. There's no like. See, this is the problem with this game. That like, from a fundamental perspective, the same thing happens in League of Legends and Wild Rift. So I can't be necessarily too critical. I think. Like I think that's being a little bit facetious or like bad faith. But like it happens in every MOBA, so I guess it happens in this one. Why are you fighting in their jungle right now? Like you have no reason to take this fight once you get these two kills. Just like well even then, like you basically get a third one. Just like back out here. Like there's they see the third kill and they just like they go so far in they get wombo comboed and then it's like they like there's no reason to do this and go this far in this consistently. Because eventually you're going to get punished. Even if you don't get punished the first time or the second time, you're going to get punished the third time, which is what happened here. Like you get punished every time if you go too far in without a good defense mechanism of like how we get out like a Hoopa, which is also why Hoopa's very good, but yeah, this game is just fucking awful. Like it's so sloppy now. This one's like no interesting macro rotations either. Like they're not swapping any of the junglers. They're just kind of grouping and team fighting. And they've sort of blown their entire lead too, like blue side. So, oh wait, Mamo. This is what I mean when I don't like Mamo moving forward, because he feels so squishy. Like especially without ult, like he just kind of pops. Like I feel like a lot of other tanks, like the Umbreon and the Slowbro tree as well, like they have a little bit of escape tools to get out, and they don't like feel as squishy because they're passives, you know, and how their passives interact with their abilities. But Mamo, I just think is it's way harder to move forward with for no reason. For that reason, I'm not sure. Okay, so they see three, they see four, so they don't know leaf. So they know leaf now. Wait, who'd that ult hit? Ooh, that's. Wait, also, I just realized why is the Miraidon going Electro Drift? You have no damage. I didn't even think about it beforehand. I don't know why, but like there's no damage in this team composition now because no one else can do any sort of damage. Like you need the output of Charge Beam because otherwise you have no way to deal consistent damage. Okay, well, on one hand, I hoped that the non-Zeta division team would lose because I hate them and their drafts, not as people. I hate the way they play the game, but on the other hand, Zeta Division deserved to lose for this Game 3 draft because it's kind of fucking awful. I still prefer it to the blue side draft, I think, but like they just let the. See, this is the issue, right? Like people are gonna look at this game and think that Leafeon was good because it got really far ahead and then its team kind of carried it through the rest of the game, but I, like it doesn't do anything. It's just so fucking bad. Okay. That's the end of the stream. I'm cooked. Yeah, I'll probably upload these videos though to YouTube real quick, so, yep.